If you are a gifted person, it doesn't mean that you gain something. It means you have something to give back. Loneliness does not come from having no people around, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself. The healthy man does not torture others. Generally, it is the tortured who turn into torturers. Depression is like a woman in black. Don't shoo her away. Invite her in. Offer her a seat. Treat her like a guest, and listen to what she wants to say. Your visions will become clear. Only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. The greatest and most important problems of life are fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. Your perception will become clear only when you can look into your soul. Man needs difficulties. They are necessary for health. The word happiness would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. The least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect. Acting from inner necessity, the creative mind plays with the objects it loves. The pendulum of the mind alternates between sense, not between right and wrong. Your perception will become clear only when you look into your soul. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, in order to avoid facing their own souls. Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, their love is lacking. Your heart knows the way. The dream is a small hidden door. The most terrifying thing. What you resist persists. The world will ask you who you are, and if you do not know, the world will tell you. Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol or morphine or idealism. In all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order, as far as we can discern. The sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. Seldom, or perhaps never, does a marriage develop into an individual relationship smoothly and without crisis. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The greatest tragedy of the family is the unlived lives of the parents. The emotional attitude in which we confront the world is the thing that really matters. In each of us, there is another who we do not know. The self is made manifest in the opposites. There is no birth of consciousness without pain. A dream that is not understood remains a mere occurrence understood. The acceptance of oneself is the essence of the whole moral problem. The dream is the small, hidden door in the deepest and most intimate sanctum of the soul. Your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. A man who is not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. Shame is a soul-eating emotion. Mistakes are, after all, the foundations of truth. And if a man does not know what a thing is, it is at least an increase in knowledge, if he knows what it is not. The first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego. The second half is going inward and letting go of it. The sole purpose of human existence is a kindle of light in the darkness of mere being. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. The more you try to avoid suffering, the more you suffer, because smaller and more insignificant things begin to torture you in proportion to your fear of being hurt. The most intense conflicts, if overcome, leave behind a sense of security and calm that is not easily disturbed. Man is not a machine that can be remodeled for quite other purposes as occasion demands, in the hope that it will go on functioning as regularly as before, but in a quite different way. It all depends on how we look at things, and not on how things are in themselves. To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem. An attractive person always stays at home, the sanctuary of their solitude. A special ability means a heavy expenditure of energy in a particular direction, with a consequent drain from some other side of life. The greatest tragedy of the family, the unlived lives of the parents. The best political, social and spiritual work we can do is to withdraw the projection of our shadow onto others. The more intensively the family is its character upon the child, the more it will tend to feel and see its earlier, miniature world again in the bigger world of adult life. The man who moves the mountain begins by carrying away small stones. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. We have two lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. Give a bowl of rice to a man, and you will feed him for a day. Teach him how to grow his own rice, and you will save his life. It is more shameful to distrust our friends than to be deceived by them. When you see a good person, think of becoming like him. When you see someone not so good, reflect on your own weak points. Don't complain about the snow on your neighbor's roof when your own doorstep is unclean. Even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust. The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute. The man who does not ask is a fool for life. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. Forget injuries, never forget kindnesses. If you hate, then you have been defeated. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak. If you are the smartest person in the room, then you are in the wrong room. The person attempting to travel to road will get nowhere. By 3 methods we may learn wisdom. First, by reflection, which is noblest. Second, by imitation, which is easiest. And third, by experience, which is the bitterest. When anger rises, think of the consequences. It is easy to hate, and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things works. All good things are difficult to achieve, and bad things are very easy to get. He who attends to his greater self becomes a great man, and he who attends to his smaller self becomes a small man. Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. Do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Victory comes from finding opportunities and problems. Think of tomorrow, the past can't be mended. The man who says he can, and the man who says he cannot are both correct. If you act wisely, good things tend to happen. Act like fool and bad things tend to happen. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. He who flatters a man is his enemy. He who tells him of his faults is his maker. The truth is not always beautiful, nor beautiful words the truth. 3 things never come back: time, word, and opportunity. Therefore do not waste time. Choose words and do not miss the opportunity. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Plan for what is difficult while it is easy. Do what is great while it is small. Friendship is one mind and 2 bodies. The snow goose need not bathe to make itself white. Neither need you do anything but be yourself. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. The noble person uses things. The lesser man is used by things. To see the right and not to do it is cowardice. Never venture, never win. If there is no determined effort, there will be no brilliant achievement. Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. The funniest people are the saddest ones. You can't trust a man who has nothing to lose. An enemy is a friend who knows too much about you. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. Tell me and I will forget, show me and I may remember, involve me and I will understand. An intelligent person avoids extremes, self-indulgence and extravagance. No matter how busy you may think you are, you must find time for reading, or surrender yourself to self-chosen ignorance. Learn as if you were not reaching your goal, and as though you were scared of missing it. Attack the evil that is within yourself, rather than attacking the evil that is in others. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. The more you don't have sex, the less you want it. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. It is better to light one small candle of gratitude than to curse the darkness. Happiness is when you are understood. Great happiness is when you are loved. Real happiness is when you love. To complain about an unpleasant thing is to double the evil. To laugh at it is to destroy it. There are 1,000 lessons in defeat, but only one in victory. Silence is a source of great strength. If what one has to say is not better than silence, then one should keep silent. A leader leads by example, not by force. Do not conquer the world with force, for force only causes resistance. Try your best to treat others as you would wish to be treated yourself, and you will find that this is the shortest way to benevolence. I once tried thinking for an entire day, but I found it less valuable than one moment of study. I have just 3 things to teach: simplicity, patience, compassion. These 3 are your greatest treasures. A superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Nothing is softer or more flexible than water, yet nothing can resist it. The way is near, but men seek it afar. It is in easy things, but men seek for it in difficult things. Don't thank or curse heaven. It's just the natural result of your own actions. The will to win, the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. The great man is the one who does not lose his child's heart. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. At first you choose a partner based on appearance, and enjoy it until you realize that your children will be raised not based on appearance, but based on values. No amount of success can compensate for failure at home. If people took back the pain they caused you, you'd lose the strength you gained. The average of 5 is real. If you really want to know someone, look at the 5 people they talk to the most and spend the most time with. Your friends' problems become your problems. The smaller your social circle, the fewer problems you have. Once you realize your value, you will be greatly surprised at what you used to settle for. When you laugh, people laugh with you, and when you cry alone. Just because you miss someone doesn't mean you need them back in your life. Missing is a part of getting over. The magic you are looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Overtrusting, betrayal, masturbation, loss of energy, stress, hair loss, overthinking, depression, saying no, important, revenge, ruining your own life, observing, increase in wisdom, forgiving, healing, letting go, peace of mind. You can always earn money. It's not a big deal. Your world is not going to end because you don't have a fixed income. Something else will work out. Every person has three faces. Firstly, the one we show to the world and strangers. Secondly, the one we show to family, spouses and close friends. And thirdly, the one we show only to ourselves. Not everything in this world should be your problem. Some things are simply none of your business. Focus on the issues that affect you directly. You will be much happier that way. Rejection is important for self-development. No one has the answer. You're going to spend a lot of time figuring things out. Most people stay in the same place for a reason. The things they hold dear are the anchors that hold them in place. Stop trying to make everyone love you. You need enemies to succeed. Sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but actually you've been planted. The person who cares less has the most power in a relationship. Never sacrifice your progress for a friend. They might not do the same if the tables were turned. The world doesn't care about your potential. Cares about what you've done. You spend all your health initially for wealth, and then you spend all your wealth for one day of good health. Never compare your life with others. They may seem better than you, but they have some problems which are never ever heard by you. Don't tell anyone what you think or what you know. Keep your secrets to yourself, because a friend of today could be an enemy by tomorrow. Embrace judgment. No matter your outcome, you'll always be judged. So don't live to impress others. Live to impress yourself. Worry is the ultimate bully. It takes everything and gives nothing. Wasting time and regretting, cribbing and crying won't fetch you results. You are right about all the things you think you need to do. Don't wait, get started. If something bothers you, change it. If it is beyond your control, learn to live with it. Accept it, change yourself. That is the only thing you can influence. When you get up in the morning, remember what you promised yourself at night. You spend your first 20 years worrying about what people think about you. You spend your next 20 years swearing that you don't care what people think about you. You spend the next 20 years realizing that they aren't thinking about you. To have what you never had, you have to do what you never did. People will say almost anything when they're happy. Be wise and careful of this one. The world will not treat you better just because you're a good person. Chasing the opposite sex and having temporary relationships, which means nothing but sex, is pointless. What people say when they are angry aren't things they mean. They regret it often. Forgive angry people, it's okay. They are only human. The more people let you down, the easier you'll get back up and realize that life doesn't stop for anyone. You can't litter negativity everywhere and wonder why you have a trashy life. Not everyone will make it to your future. Some people are passing through to teach you life lessons. If you waste money, you can earn it again. If you miss the moment, it can never be returned. Life is unfair, and sometimes good deeds aren't rewarded, and bad deeds aren't punished. Things work out when you least expect them. Life has a funny way of surprising us when we're not looking for it. The ego is not a bad thing, and sometimes we need it in order to achieve our aims and feel vitality. However, the ego is just a tool. We shouldn't let it control us. There will always be someone who is better than you in something. You have to accept that fact and learn from them. That's something that will help you grow. Betrayal never comes from your enemies. The hardest part is at the beginning of the journey. The rocket loses 90% of its fuel during takeoff. A moment of patience in a moment of anger saves from 1,000 minutes of regret. Success is a loner's journey. You must learn to accept loss and make compromises. Putting off until tomorrow is your weakness. You can't always have a good day, but you can always face a bad day with a good attitude. Don't compare yourself to others because no one can play your role better than you. No work is beneath you. The only thing that should be beneath you is your big ego. Work hard in silence and show your skills at the job you get, rather than criticizing the job. No matter how hard you work, you can have everything you want eventually. Most of us end up settling in some part of our life. Owning your truth can be hard, but not nearly as hard as spending your life running away from it. Many of the people you told your secret to have already told it to others. There is nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it. People only want to hear the good, not the bad. So if you have issues, it'll be hard to find people to confide in. The walls you build to keep things out are also keeping things in. There are times when you see someone for the last time and don't even realize it. Watch out. You'll never know the true value of the moment until it becomes a memory. Never expect too high. The more you expect when it doesn't meet your expectation, the more it's gonna hurt. The only two people that will never let you down are your parents. Not your wife, not your husband, not your kids, nor your friends. You might regret your speech, but you'll never regret your silence. Learn to let go even if you are right. Life is a boxing game. Defeat is not declared when you fall down. It is declared when you refuse to get up. It is indeed very hard to move on. But once you do, you realize it was your best decision. Never make a promise you can't keep. Stop letting other people take advantage of you. Learn to say no and understand your rights. Saying no is important. People don't get offended as much as you think. Never awaken a woman's love with no intention of loving her. When talking to people, look them in the eye and on the face. This will make you more confident in front of others. Find something you love, something you can lean on to, something that would keep you going. You need something to fall back on when you get depressed. Nothing is complicated. Not as much as you assume. It's just your mind playing tricks with you. If you get down to it, it's all really simple and clear. Time is your most valuable resource. There are no refunds or second chances for the time you waste. No one in this world will stand up for you like the way your parents do. Always be there for them. In order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you. Be impatient with actions, but patient with results. If you're not happy with yourself, you'll never be happy in a relationship. Being lonely and being alone are different things. Overthinking ruins you. It ruins the situation, twists things around, makes you worry about futile questions, and makes everything much worse than it actually is. Most people are a complete waste of time. A lesson never, ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Don't let people know too much about you. Just trust your instincts, that feelings can sometimes save you from big troubles. You don't get extra marks for putting up with people you dislike. Life is unfair. Don't moan, don't complain. Learn to be thick-skinned. Make the most of what you can. You don't have to be great to start, but to become great you just have to start. The moment poverty walks in through the door, love and peace toss themselves out of the window. Don't be emotionally attached to anyone. People change, even your best Friends may probably turn into strangers one day. No one cares except you. Do what lifts you up in your eyes. What people say does not matter. Think before you act. You can take a second to do something you haven't properly considered. That isn't a true reflection of your character, and it can undo a lifetime of kindness and generosity. Life gives you lemons, pepper, salt, and sometimes cold water. But they don't come together or in a certain order. So keep struggling until the lemonade is ready. If you can't do it now, you won't do it ever. Regretting won't change your past, and it will end up your future if you continue to do that. Don't make hopes. Hopes will create expectation, and expectation makes you weaker. Some people just won't admit they're wrong. Don't waste time trying to get them to accept it. Passion is super awesome, but it doesn't cure all your problems. Passion can go a long way in your life, but it doesn't mean it's all unicorns and rainbows. You are not unique. There will always be someone else equally attractive, fun and qualified to replace you. Sometimes you just have to let stupid people be stupid. Don't read a quote and say this is wise. But read a quote and say, how can I relate this to my life?